Welcome to RVing in New England, the nation's only forum that puts you on stage with some of the biggest names in the RV industry. And now your hosts, John DePietro and Bob Zagami.
And hello, everyone, and welcome once again to RVing in New England. If it's Wednesday night, it must be RVing in New England. My name is John DePietro. Bob Zagami's here somewhere. Oh, there he is.
I'm here.
Bob was out feeding the alligators.
Right.
And
two of them in the pond tonight.
Just made it back in time for the show. So, Bob, welcome to our show.
Yes, Wednesday night, fun night. What's your weather like up there? You got back to 80 degrees down here today.
Yeah, well, we got up to 4. You know what? It was 44. It was 44.
Well, that's good.
And
that's good.
But we've got a little rain tomorrow, then ice and snow coming in for the weekend.
Oh, no.
So we were talking about one of the topics we want to talk about tonight is the Connecticut RV show, the Northeast RV show being rescheduled to this weekend. It looks like Saturday they may have to
they might
draw
have to
by
do that again. I hope they don't have another washout there.
No, nothing like last week.
Several Nerve members in the show. Campers in, Crowley RV, Sherry Fuller, and Fuller RV Rentals and Sales. Nobody works the show harder than Sherry Fuller, and all the guys will admit that. Hemlock Hill with their Cougar display, and I understand Kevin Hookey's coming back. He was here last weekend and flew out Saturday, but I understand he's coming back. Lee's Auto and RV Ranch, Longview RV with Frank and Todd and the gang. Jim Conboy and Kurt will probably be there, I think. I know Jim's been doing most of the shows, but New England RV Roof. And Chad will have a big contingent down there for Pete's RV
He's got a
Centers.
store right nearby.
Yeah.
He's got a store right nearby. Now look at this. Walter Swenson is in Florida with you, and he's giving us the weather report. Thank you, Walter.
Is his weather report different than my weather report? What's he saying? He's giving the weather report for Milford. Okay, yeah.
Saturday, mostly sunny. Oh, Kevin is coming. What's he say? Snow has shut down Elkhart in RV production tomorrow.
Yeah, they supposedly got 18 to 24 inches, and some parts got even more. That storm that he just got out there. They got out there was stretching 3,000 miles from Maine to Texas. That's how long that one storm was. And when it was going through Elkhart, it was going to be 18 to 24. So he says he's heading back to Hartford this weekend if he can get out of here. Here being Elkhart. South Bend.
South Bend, yeah.
You may have to go to Chicago. You may have to go to a real airport and get a real airplane. Yeah.
I was doing a lot of viewing of several other RV shows that are available on the network, on the internet now. And you know what? There are hundreds of them. You know, the beauty of this broadcasting capability is that anybody can be on the air. The bad part is anybody can be on the air. But, you know, we've been doing this show 5.5 years, 6 years. What are we in our 6th year, something like that?
6th year.
The thing that I found makes it special. Now, most people are going to say, well, the thing, DePietro, you thought was going to be special is because you were on. Well, that's only partially true. But, Bob, I'm sure you'd agree with me that the real stars of this show are our audience, and I wrote a little tagline down here, where our audience is our very special guest. So, audience, there are so many things that you could be doing tonight. You could be watching Jeopardy. You could be watching reruns of Andy Griffith. You could be watching CNN or other great networks like that to get all the news of the world. Or you could be watching us. And we are overly appreciative of the fact that you choose us. So don't ever think that we don't appreciate the fact. And you know what? the beauty of this show, it wouldn't be as successful and wouldn't be as much fun to do if we didn't have our audience, really dictating the content.
Well, you couldn't do a show like this without an audience, and we didn't. And we didn't plan it that way when we first sketched this thing out on paper. Let's try it and see what happens.
We didn't sketch it out on paper. We sketched it out like on a cocktail napkin.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's how small the sketch was.
But it didn't. We didn't think it was going to last long.
Yeah, and we said let's try it once or twice. The other thing, I just saw Jim Roy there. I have a. Can you see this? Where's my camera?
Silver Moose Restoration.
Silver Moose
right
Restoration.
There. Yeah,
we're going to give this away tonight, Bob. You're in charge of figuring out how we're going to give it away. Should we figure out a certain number of posts or whatever? But this is a quality shirt. It is. Oh, it's a gilded shirt.
How about the first person that tells us what city in Maine or what town in Maine Silver Moose Restoration is located in?
Okay.
So we'll make it quick and easy. Let's see what we have here. We got I'll go bottom to top. Who came on here first? Jerry Plant, Cape Cod. Dante's on. He's getting all excited. His motorhome's coming in a few months, and he's going to hit the road. Walter, good evening, Walter. From
much
the other side of Florida. We didn't. Jerry Plant says, "Did you see any falling lizards?" They get the strangest thing down here. When it gets cold, down below 40 degrees, the iguanas fall out of the tree, and they're frozen stiff. Now, you're not supposed to touch them. You just leave them there. And when the sun comes up the next day, they heat up, and when their body temperature gets to a certain degree, they're up. They're fine. They're just comatose for, however long it stays cold. And they climb back up in the tree. No, I went looking for them. I took my camera and I went out looking for them, but I didn't find any. So good point, Jerry. Ryan, good evening.
How about Mark? Get Mark home.
Ryan's got his flag. So that could be another tagline. I like your tagline about our fans, but Ryan's got something there. Good evening, Mr. Daniels and Chef Boyardee. I mean, that could be a nice tagline too.
Right, but you skipped Mark Polk. You skipped right over Mark Polk.
Good evening, gents. I did skip over him.
I have to ask Mark. Now, normally people turn into a show to ask a question of the host, meaning you and me. I'm going to turn the tables because I got to ask Mark a question right now, and he can give us an answer. Mark, my batteries, which are 2 years old, my house batteries, 2 years old. I've had the RV in storage since November 1st, and I went to it yesterday to take some stuff out, and my house batteries are just click, click, click. Now, am I under the correct understanding that when I run the engine battery, that it will recharge those house batteries? Just let me know on that. And they're only a year and a half old. And you know what? Just before I put it in for storage, I diligently filled them with, not mineral oil. What do you call it? Distilled water.
Distilled water. Yeah.
Mineral oil. So, Mark, let me know if I'm going to do that, or I have to shell out for new batteries again.
Tom's with us.
Hi, Tom. Walter. There's the weather. Kevin, we talked to Kevin.
The weather. Kevin. All right.
Evening, Bob, John, in the group. Hi, Lisa.
Lisa's on. Good evening.
Dante says 6 inches Friday.
Friday. How much did you get up there last weekend, Dante? Did you get the 2 feet? And there's Jim Roy from Silver Moose.
Okay. Hey, Bob, we need to tell somebody here, and I haven't seen Jim Convoy on yet, but last week with that wind.
Jim's here.
Oh, there he is. Okay. Well, yeah.
And Greg's here.
Greg works with Ryan. This is a little bit of warning for everybody, and all of our technical experts like Mark Polk, I'm sure, would agree. Go out if your motorhome was outside. If it's still outside, I pay the extra money to store mine inside in the winter. Go out and go in it, because there may, with all those winds blowing last week, there may have been snow that blew in it and it's still frozen. in the units. You know, today it would have melted, but just take a look at it. There may have been, you know, a crack in a window that wasn't open or a skylight that wasn't totally closed. Because you don't want to wait until April 1st to go look at it and say, geez, I should have done that back in February. So go out, take a look, you know, unless you're totally under a cover. But
that's your tech tip tonight from John DePietro. That's pretty good. You get a bonus.
I know nothing. I have to ask for tips, but that's a common sense one.
Ed Latour goes on with us. Hello, Ed.
Dylan and Pat Hawes on time tonight.
He had a choice. You could shovel snow or you could watch us guys. Texas. Lisa, this is exactly where I'm meant to be. So grateful for both of you and your expertise. Well, thank you, Lisa. And Frank.
Did you get Diane what are you doing? Going from the bottom up again?
Back up to her. Good to be listening again. Got my 4th reservation arranged this afternoon. Mass twice. We're going to talk about that. And twice in New Hampshire. Spreading the wealth. Yes, Diane joined us tonight, and she says, it's all fun and games until this old broad has to roof rake 2 feet of snow. Why do I live here? Florida calling. Come on down. Everybody else is coming down, Diane. You might as well join the
Diane. Diane, find a local teenager in your neighborhood. There's always teenagers that are around shoveling snow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Folks, okay. Jerry Plant's got it. Hey, Jerry, I hate to break it to you, Jerry, but it's only a size large.
Yeah, forget it, Jerry.
Maybe your wife can wear it, you know. I don't know. But it's a large because John takes an extra large. Well, Diane was close. So Jerry, do you want to give up knowing this is a large, Jerry, do you want to give it up to Diane? Because you both came in as 708. And we only have one of them. This isn't one of those things where I have 2 to give away. So, Jerry, let us know if you want to be a gentleman. Corky came in at 708. Man, oh, man. What happened at 708 that they all decided to do it?
And Lisa, too.
Lisa, too. What time was Lisa? She was in
708.
708. What the hell was that? All 4. They must have went out to the internet at the same time.
Oh, all at the same time.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
Walter says,
I'm going down the list chronologically. You're coming backwards. Nobody knows what the heck's going on here. What if we have a good comment from our audience?
No, I'm going the right direction. These are all the ones that are coming in.
Which way are you going?
I'm going
from
down.
Old to new or new to old?
Trying to say what Walter's saying can be affected the same way. There was one with a fish in its mouth for 2 days, just waiting to warm up. I missed that one altogether. But Girl Camper did a feature on Jim, so not quite fair. I know that. Oh, that's right. You were up there. All right, so we'll discount you then. All right.
So we don't have a winner yet.
Jerry says your propane detector probably ran your battery down. Oh, you got a propane detector? Did you take out the battery?
Oh, the one in my unit, but it's not. But it's on its own battery. Unless, I don't know. I called Chris down at Majors, and he said that it will, it should recharge by being on the road. Or I may just go back to the place and plug it in.
That might help too.
Yeah.
Let me do something here.
We're totally.
Think of it. We get several people on. So let me announce the winners of, let me get Jerry off here. Boom, 1 second. Get Jerry off. All right. So the winners of the gas stop, which was every 10th comment. Maria Galanti Moore, Jim Roy, who's on tonight. I got his address. Gail Hogan. I don't see Gail yet. Walter, I need your address. I need your address in Florida, or tell me if you want to send it to Milford. Ryan, I know where to get a hold of you. And Don, I'll need an address to send yours out. So as soon as I get those, I will get them down to Mike Ray, and we will get them in the mail to you. So congratulations to our winners from last week. So
those are like $70 each, right?
75, yeah, right in that range, 75 or 79.
Yeah. That was a good guess.
If I don't have your email address, send me your address via my email, and we will get that off to you. Congratulations there.
Now, Jerry said, give it to Diane. Diane says, I already have one. So we don't have a winner yet, unless Diane wants it. Diane, tell us if you want it or not. It's a really good one. It's a really good one.
Well, we can eliminate Hooky because he's got, he gets all those others. He gives us T-shirts instead of us giving him. Although I did send them some Nerd mugs. So we could do it with Lisa. But let me know if you want that shirt, Diane. If not, we could do it for Lisa because again,
look at Jim Roy here because he's getting all this free publicity. He's smart. He says if Jerry wants to give up the large, I can send him his correct size. Do you have XX, Jim Roy, for Jerry? Do you have XX for Jerry?
No, he's about our size. Did Jerry say he takes a XX?
Jerry is not our size.
Huh? I'll bet he takes an extra large. He can't get into a large.
Okay. So everybody's talking about Florida.
Now you're telling him that he's bigger than us?
Yeah. Yeah, because he's retiring.
Next time you need a favor from Majors, he may not help you out.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good. So Mark says,
we were in Weymouth yesterday. It was cold. Okay. Walter says, what did I do here? Boom.
What are you doing, Zagami?
Jim says,
are you playing Russian roulette with these?
No, there's so many that come in so fast and furious. Ryan says he'll swap a TRIC shirt for a silver. That's a good trade.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got some nice shirts too. He put some good money into the shirts.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. And now I just saw that Ryan has become a Dometic authorized repair facility.
That's right. We posted that this week. So you got Dometic issues. You got a guy right in your backyard who can do the repairs and do the warranty repairs and get it taken care of for you.
Okay, Zagami, I think let's do this. Let's go back to 7. Let's go back to 7:10. Okay. Dante got 17 inches of snow. Greg Barsamian, we found batteries that were frozen. Wow, that's interesting. Bob doesn't have that problem. He's smart enough to go south. Yeah, I'll give him credit for that. Tony, our friend in California, says you all got snowed in.
But Don, it took me 77 years to figure out I should go south.
Yeah. Now, let's ask Tony this question, if he's still with us. Tony was broadcasting live from Quartzsite. Now, I've never been there. Have any of the current members of our audience that are watching this right now been to Quartzsite? Tony, tell me, Bob and I just reported for our other show that there was over 100,000 people there, and they don't even have a gate to click you off when you come in. So tell us what Quartzsite was like. I'd love to get to that one of these days.
Jim Conboy had hello, Audrey. She said, hi, guys. Glad to see you. We go into the rig every weekend. It's in the side yard and covered. Jim Conboy wanted us to talk about shows. Man, look at these notes. These guys are going crazy tonight.
Okay.
But says, not in West Roxbury. There's no amount of money I wouldn't pay a youngin to shovel this madness. No, she wouldn't pay a youngin. I thought she'd say I couldn't find.
No, I wouldn't pay. I wouldn't pay. There's nothing I wouldn't pay.
All right, here's your answer.
Okay.
You can read it because if you read it, it'll stick in your brain.
Okay. John, want me to use my fake announcer voice?
Yeah.
Okay. The engine will charge the house batteries, but if they're really discharged, they will need a 3-stage charger to properly charge them. When they sit in storage and discharge, they can be damaged, especially in cold weather. Well, this Mark is indoors in 65-degree weather, indoors and heated. So I don't know if that makes any difference. But thank you so much for your precise answer. Jim said wants to talk about shows. You know what? Tony's going to talk about whatchamacallit, that place, Quartzsite, we just talked about. And Audrey Egan Audrey Foley Egan. Bob, the other thing we wanted to talk about tonight was campgrounds. And Audrey told us in one of her posts to her friends that she's having trouble finding places where they can put 10 or 12 rigs at a time. Audrey, why don't you weigh in just by...
hang on that. Let's not leave Jim hanging out there. So Jim wants to talk about shows. So let me put that slide up again for Connecticut, for those people that... where are we here? So besides Jim, who's going to be on display in Connecticut, we've got Campers Inn, Crowley, Fuller RV Rentals, Hemlock Hill, Lee's Auto and RV Ranch, Longview RV, New England RV Roof, which is Jim Convoy, and Pete's RV Centers. So,
did you do that slide?
Yes.
Did you commit the mortal sin?
Huh? No, it was already on Joe's. I did not. Joe committed the mortal sin. It was on the graphic that he gave me. I'm insulted that you would even ask me that question, DePietro. You want to explain that to our fans?
Well, you explain the mortal sin. Ladies and gentlemen, Zagami and I have been doing this show for a while, and there are this thing called stock photography, where people, they just Google RV, and then they put it up on their site to make it look like they know what they're doing. But you can tell the people that don't know what they're doing when they put a European RV to advertise a U.S. show or a U.S. unit. Bob, go back to that picture again.
Beep, 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 beep. That is a European Class C. They get these advertising agencies or PR people, sometimes the people in the companies themselves. And I'm talking about major manufacturers in the United States that use the same exact photo. As there was one time in one of the national magazines that two of the companies that had submitted ads used the same photo of a Norwegian fjord and six or seven European RVs lined up on the right-hand side. They just turned it into two different ads. They used exactly the same photograph. They don't even check to see if it's an American photograph.
And the crazy thing is they had to Photoshop those there because there's no way they could get them on that beach without tipping them through the quicksand or the beach sand.
Yeah,
so crazy.
So,
but not here on RVing in New England.
I did, as far as shows, there's supposed to be New Hampshire and Rhode Island, but we don't know if that's going to come to pass. And I did just find out from Chad Shepard today, the Vermont show has been canceled up in Burlington. So it's going to be the Pete's RV show. He's going to take the same building at the Champlain Valley.
Essex.
Yeah. He's going to take the same thing and just do a Pete's RV show. That's so for the Vermont people. But next weekend, it is the Hartford Civic Center. They call it the Convention Center, right? Convention Center. Friday.
Hartford Convention Center, yeah.
Yep. And I don't have the time. If they do exactly as they did last week, it'll be 12 to 8, I think, on Friday. And then open all day Saturday and Sunday. Jim, how was you were there last weekend. How were your crowds at the show last weekend? I understand a lot of people came on Friday because they were concerned about the blizzard on Saturday. But how'd you make out on Sunday? Give us a little report for that.
Interesting.
Diane says, I want to give a shout out to Mark Polk and his advice on rodent control, not just for RVs, but felt gushing wind under my sink. And sure enough, some furry friends were visiting, followed Mark's advice on how to seal gaps and use mothballs. Okay, good.
And a shotgun.
And a shotgun, and she blew a bigger hole in the thing. So let's talk
Diane wants the shirt.
Diane wants the shirt. Okay.
So Diane, send Bob your mailing address.
I may have it. Yep. I'll get that taken care of for her. So
Lisa, if Diane doesn't want it, I'll take it.
So Audrey, I want you to chime in because the thing that prompted that was Tree Farm Campground up in New Hampshire had opened up their 2023 reservations, not 2022, 2023 the other day, and you had to be on at 6 in the morning, and anybody that got on before 6 was disqualified. And they had just under 600. I think I typed it wrong on the announcement, but just under 600 people in one day called up and made reservations. So for those of you who are out there, how many of you are having really significant problems trying to get reservations? And if they're booking now for 2023, that probably doesn't bode well for 2022, right?
However, I'm trying to figure out who gave me this advice. It might have been Campground Views. What's it, Mark?
Marquette.
Campground Views. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very important.
On our show one night, right?
Yep. If you're looking for a one-night stand, maybe I should rephrase that, Bob.
Yeah, let's see if you can find a better way to say that.
If you only want to camp for one night,
that's fair.
The website says sold out, and you called the week before and it said sold out, do yourself a favor and call the facility on the day that you want to go there and politely say something like, I know you'll laugh at me, but I'm just wondering, were there any cancellations for one rig tonight for one night? And I've done that actually 3 times on one trip that was over 4th of July weekend. We got in all 3 times because there were all, especially if it's a campground with over 100 spaces, 100 sites, there's always the odds that there's going to be a cancellation, or somebody left early. So do that, folks. It will be worth your while. You won't be disappointed. Okay. Bob, did you see Ed Shalazy?
No, hey, Ed.
Ed from Alliance. We met Ed.
I thought I missed him in Tampa, but it turns out he wasn't in Tampa. George was there, but I missed George.
George Walker?
But I did spend some time with Bill Martin, and but I saw a note between Ed and George that Ed was not there. Am I correct in saying that, Ed, or did you come in on a later day to do that?
Vendors courtside, miles of white roofs as you come into town. Many thousands of rigs from all over the desert. Two feathers. I don't know what they're referring to, whether it was Quartz or Hartford, one of the two. Send your address by email. Thanks, as always, Jim. As of today, I've committed to the Rhode Island and New Hampshire show. Are good to go. Okay. Jacksonville, February 11th. I hear it's a smaller show.
Fort Myers was a small show. Jacksonville that show could probably be renamed the General RV and Campers Inn show. Between the two of them, they must have 80% of the space down there on that one.
Bob, Audrey says that I have had such a bad time trying to make group reservations. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand one thing. Group reservations are a total different dynamic than 1 or 2 people, because when Audrey travels, she travels with a convoy. Generally they start at Myrtle Beach in first or second week of April, and that's sometimes 18 or 19 units. So you make that out. She's been at Pirate Land for years and years and years. But when you're trying to make reservations for 10 or 12 or 15 units, totally different than
if you can't get it for one. If you can't get it for one, imagine what it's like trying to get it for 12.
Right. And sometimes I'm going to suggest something here, which I have no idea why I'm saying it, but I'm going to suggest it anyway, is that if you're going to travel with groups, large packs of RVs like Audrey does, don't just go to the website and work off a computerized program. Call the office. Find out if there's a group sales office. Find out if there is an area that may not have full hookups, but at least has power and has some water nearby, so that your group can all stay together. There's
maybe a rally area, or see if there's a rally area. Yeah, maybe they'll turn over the ball field to you. But I want to go back to what thing that Audrey said, because I picked up something on the New England Camping Facebook page this morning. And this woman says, is anyone else stressing about Massachusetts state park reservations? Every other New England state park is open except for Massachusetts. It's going to be a SHIT show trying to make reservations. Used to be you could book them 6 months in advance, and I would go online at midnight and have no problems. Then they switched it to 4 months with a 9 a.m. start, and now they're not even open yet, and Memorial Day is 3 months away. I don't understand the holdup. Sorry for the rant. I'm just very frustrated. But the interesting thing was it was followed by about 25 or maybe 30 other ones. Let me read this one from Lewis. I would like to share how dysfunctional this state is. I too want to book my vacation, so I called DCR to get some info. I listened to the prompts and pressed the extension for camping. I was met with a voicemail stating, hello, you have reached XXX, but I am retired and don't work here anymore. Then I called Salisbury Park and got a voicemail stating, hello, the 2022 season is open and reservations are being taken. Of course, this is false. Then I called the governor's office and was told the holdup is due to some policy changes that still haven't been signed off. This is Massachusetts. This is how disrespectful Massachusetts is to us campers. So I can. That's the source of your frustration. But if anybody else wants to comment, see, here's Rhonda and Joe and Jason, Lisa. They all go to. I know they love Scusset Beach. A lot of people go there.
Well, Walter says that Massachusetts state parks are not accepting reservations yet, and they don't know when they might open, says Walter. Ladies and gentlemen, that's unacceptable. Let me tell you one thing. At least in Massachusetts, RVers are treated as second-class citizens. Reason being is they don't have lobbies like a Convention and Visitors Bureau. So Convention and Visitors Bureau have hotels that are members. And depending upon what city they're in, as well as the state, a percentage of the hotel reservation fee goes to the state. And they're usually hotels. You don't see campgrounds joining CVBs, Convention and Visitors Bureaus. So if you call a Convention and Visitors Bureau and try to ask for campground information, I'm guessing that the chances of you getting, good information or up-to-date information or any kind of accurate information is very slim. Have any of you tried calling a CVB? Let us know.
What I'll do is I will get a hold of Michael Oz at RBIA. He's the federal and state liaison to the RV industry, and whatever there's bills going through, like the Great American Outdoors Act or state legislation, I will give him a call and make him aware of this and see if because they have lobbyists, they do have lobbyists all around for RBIA, and see if they can maybe do a little homework for us and find out what the hell is going on over there. We don't want the season to be over before they do that.
Look, we're all campers. We love camping. And, we have many campground owners that are on with us at various times throughout the year. But the crazy part about what's happening with camping right now is they don't necessarily have to cater to you like they did pre-COVID when they had spaces to fill. Now it's like, this is the time we're open, get it done. Now you still got.
And there's so many new RVs going out there too. Yep. Walter says, I tried to book Saco, Maine for July 4th weekend. They have 2 sites open. Was that the KOA up in Saco, or was that another? I think that's the only one in Saco is the KOA up there.
The one on Route 1.
4th weekend. Did you try Sandy Pines, Walter? You know what you want to try, Walter? The Shamrock Campground. Ernie Fitz owns that. He's with the Outdoor Comfort Center. He does all the.
I said it was KOA.
Huh? It was KOA. It was KOA. But Ernie Fitz owns the Shamrock Campground. His wife runs it, and Ernie does the sunrooms and the decks. He's done my decks and my sunrooms on our park models. try Old Orchard Beach. Old Orchard Beach Campground would be another one. Good one, Greg. And Wild Acres, they get a lot of sites, but they're really very busy up there. But Wild Acres would be another one. Yeah. Jim Conboy says DCR has limited staff. There is only so much they can do. I know from my other club that does a lot of work for DCR. Well, I think that's true of most companies, but Two Feathers. Brian says, I know host and Boondockers Waltham had many book sites due to the lack of available campgrounds. Yeah, that was one of the other slides that I had out there.
And the thing is this, and he's so right, Two Feathers, but there are people that don't desire a campground because they're not going to be there for, they just want a place to get off the road and rest their head for the night and get back on the road for the first thing in the morning. So they'll find a harvest host if the harvest host is in close proximity to the highway.
But we're talking about people that want to go for a week or a long weekend. Any other comments?
You're not going to go to harvest host.
No. Any other comments coming in? Let's see. Jerry says, anyone else heard of Camp Nab? It's a bot that watches the reservation websites for campgrounds you're interested in for cancellations. I've never heard of it, Jerry. John, you ever heard of it?
No, I've heard of another one like that. I had him on as a guest. I can't think of the.
Well, that was Camp Tonight or Spot Tonight or something.
Camp Spot.
No, Camp Spot was a sponsor at the show.
Okay,
that's the software. But I think it was
another show that will watch reservations.
Site Tonight. There is another one. Jerry, just if you would, Jerry, post up the URL for Camp Nab and people can do a little checking on that. Powderhorn's another good one, Greg, but those places filled up, and Hidden Pines right next to them. They are usually booked, but you're right. You got to get out there and, get the directories. Don't forget, all of these state associations put out a registry or directory of privately owned campgrounds, and most of them now are online. So we've got Connecticut, I don't think did theirs this year, but Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine are all online. I know I've seen those. There is none in Rhode Island. So the question is Connecticut and Vermont active enough to put out a directory? But those are online. You don't even have to wait for it to come in the mail. And it lists every private campground. And sometimes you got to start to scout out and go to places that you never thought you'd go to before or try something new. But there are campsites out there. Everybody's not filled.
Now, let's go back to Jim Conboy's comment here on DCR has limited staff. There's only so much they can do. But I presume, Jim, you're referring to Massachusetts. I believe that the Massachusetts public facilities are all Reserve America. So it doesn't take extra people to do that. It's not like you need somebody sitting at each site to do that. So I don't know what you mean.
You'd have to have the system and the software set up for Reserve America to get into it. So if they're having staffing problems or the software in their site software isn't set up, I would assume Reserve America is going through the back door to those other sites when they start to make reservations.
Oh, yeah, Walter's are getting wiser to bots and blocking them, websites like Reserve America. Okay, and now Walter and Jerry have a side conversation going here about that. But, the thing is this, folks, when you look at a company like Marriott now with 30 different brands, they make it as easy as possible for you to stay at one of their properties. And you know what? Because I don't think anybody is better than Marriott in realizing that they're in the hospitality business. Now, just before I went on the air tonight, I normally rent my rental cars from, I find something like an Orbitz or Expedia, or sometimes, depending upon whether I'm dealing with Hertz or Enterprise, go direct. But here's a time where tonight I went through Marriott, the Bonvoy program, the frequent stay program, and I saved $100. And I also got 2,000 points. So again, Marriott allows you to do that. I don't think you're going to find many campground sites that would say, okay, you know what, come in and book with us. But you know what, we have an enterprise place right down the street. You can book with us right now. And, we'll have that car waiting for you when you get here.
Frank Haight says, I too am frustrated with state parks in Mass. Been trying for weeks and weeks to get into Salisbury Beach with no good results. These guys are pushing campers off. They are not open for reservations. Wow, that's crazy. We'll have to get to the bottom of that. We'll have to, like I said, we'll get to the lobbyists down there at RVIA and see if they can find out what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Massachusetts doesn't do a good job of welcoming campers.
Mm-hmm.
Even the times where there's and Jerry can back me up on this one, and anybody who's been down the Cape, that big, huge rest area just before you go over the Bourne Bridge.
It's closed. It's been closed 2 or 3 years.
It's closed this time of year. They open it up but they don't staff it, and they pick the trash up like every 3 weeks. Uh-huh. And when you're driving down there and you see trash barrels that haven't been emptied in weeks, and they have those portable toilets out there, folks, that's not any way to welcome people. But yet when you drive down into Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, some of those states, again, I know there's exceptions, but the bathrooms are clean, and those are just the rest areas off the highway.
Your brother's got a lot of class, John.
Is he here?
He's late, but he apologizes. He's gotten into the groove really quick. So glad to have.
You know what? He's going to Daytona 500.
That's right.
And I said, Michael, here's what you do. You go there and you go interview RVers that are at their first camp out of the season, and find somebody who's already been hanging around Budweiser or Jack Daniels, and do an interesting interview with them. And we'll put it on the show.
He's been wanting to find a way to get on the show, so that would be it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But see, here's what he wants. He wants to get press credentials so he can eat free food in the press tent.
Did we show him how to submit that?
No, because they're very picky now. NASCAR is very, very picky, and he doesn't know how to. He doesn't have the gift of gab that I have to get into those facilities.
Why don't I write a letter to the media group down at Daytona and tell them that Michael's going to be on, sorry for the short notice, but Michael has, been freed up to cover the race, and we'd like to have press credentials for him.
Right. Well, you know what? He says he will certainly do the interviews. Let me just tell you one thing. Let's get this perfectly clear right now. He might be a DePietro, but he's not a John DePietro.
There's only one John DePietro.
I know John Kennedy, and you're no John Kennedy. Who was that politician that said that? Somebody was running. I know John Kennedy, and you're no John Kennedy.
That was Walter Mondale.
Walter Mondale. Oh,
no, most of the people watching tonight will not remember who Walter Mondale was.
No, they will. Okay, what's Frank say? I'm going to fill in with Mooch.
Wait, Greg says, come on, John, take care of your brother.
Your brother.
Yeah.
Your brother. Lloyd Bankston. Okay, that's who it was.
Lloyd, it was Lloyd, yeah. All right, Frank K says, I'm going to fill in with mooch docking 4 days in May, also using Reserve America for a city park campground on the harbor 20 miles north of Boston. That's good thinking.
Hey, didn't we talk to the guy from Salem?
That's Tony Kindlespire from RV Pro. Tony does I don't know if you ever listened to it, but he's got the In Tow with RV Pro podcast.
But Bob, Tony has the voice.
Tony has got a good voice. Yeah.
He's got the voice. He's got. Tony, were you a radio guy at one time in your life? Because you have the voice, Tony. I just fake it.
He's got a great radio voice. And you got a great radio face, so you kind of match up good down there.
We got Lloyd Benson, we got Floyd Bankston,
No, I think he's right. I think it was Lloyd Bankston.
Lloyd Benston, yeah, in the debate with Dan Quayle. I know somebody.
Yeah, because it was the vice president. It's right. It was the vice presidential debate. Yeah.
Yep. 25 or so years in radio. Okay, Tony. Yep.
Yeah.
That's why. He's out on good behavior now. Okay, reserve the spot at Old Orchard Beach, but what the heck? $37 to insure? What?
Walter
say that again.
Boom.
You're paying 37. You know what? It's like for airline seats now. You know, if you want to guarantee a seat, you got to be up in higher.
Oh, that's been showing up on campground forums and blogs. That they're charging a premium. If you say I want site 24, then there's a premium attached to it. Otherwise, they will assign you a site when you get to the campground. It's another revenue generator from campground, and that's becoming more and more popular. Has anybody else run into that? Because it supposedly is becoming very popular, a way of adding some additional revenue for that. So that's $37 a night, right, Walter? That's not for your stay, or that I assume the $37 is on top of the nightly fee, which is probably getting close to 100. Which is probably getting close to 100 up there July 4th weekend.
Right now, just for example, what Walter just said, you pay $37 to get the actual site that you paid for. Okay, it seems stupid, but if they can get the money, it's not stupid from the operator's point of view. Now, do you know that in arenas like the Fleet Center, what's it called now? TD Garden.
TD Garden.
Yeah. In most of those places, if you're in one of the big high-priced seats, you pay to be in the seats, and then you pay to have access to those seats, and then you have to pay for the seat. It's called a license fee or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, Walter clarified it. $105 a night plus a fee of $37. So it sounds like the $37 is a one-time fee to get you that site, and then you got the $105 a night on top of that, plus the main taxes.
Yeah.
Susan's back with us. Wants to lock in the site. Oh, okay. So she's probably answering the question.
Yeah. Do we know Susan?
She was on a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Hi, Susan.
We don't know her. We don't know
Audrey,
her.
yes. Mystic Seaport Campground. What are you talking about?
Are they available, Audrey, or is that where your group is going? How far does your group want to go? Because I saw a note on here from Don Hawes. It said, come on down.
Yeah, that's in Texas.
Athens, Texas.
They do weekends, Bob.
No, just weekends? Oh.
Yeah, they do weekends. Audrey does, April to just about Halloween, right, Audrey? Then there's a couple. They make use of their margarita machine, put it that way.
Yeah.
It usually runs out of batteries before they run out of tires.
Michael's agreed to next thing you know, he's going to want to negotiate a contract with his brother. He says, I will certainly do the interviews.
Yeah.
And let me see if I can help you with that. I don't think I'm going to drive over. I forget the date on that, but I think I had that Sunday doing something. Tony says, at least the rest areas are open. They all seem to be closed in California. Well, why would anybody go to California anyway, Tony? So, although you were going after Quartzsite, right? You were going over there afterwards.
Oh.
And Jerry mentioned, John's done some videos on that Ohio rest stop with hookups there overnight. Yeah.
Where are you reading this stuff?
I went back up. We missed so many. Audrey says, yet they changed the reservation time from 6 months out to 4 months, but the opening date is not posted. It's wicked frustrating. I was just going up because you see, here's one. Don says, Mohawk State Park Campground was always our go-to. He was in
New York or Massachusetts?
No, that's Massachusetts. He lived in Massachusetts. So when he was up here, he went to Mohawk State. Yeah, but if the state campground system isn't working, Don, we're going to have the same problem with Mohawk that they're having with Scusset and Salisbury.
Yeah.
Do that. All right, Jerry Plant did list, if you go up, what the hell's that? Hunt.
Where are you?
Blog. Jerry posted something, huntandpeckblog.com, best campsite trackers. So that must be like that Camp Nav that they track campgrounds for open sites. I mean, I apologize. We just got slammed with all these comments tonight, which is fantastic.
You don't have to apologize. That's part of the show.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony was already in courtside. Okay.
Going up and down like this.
Susan writes different Susan Lyden Keenan. There's two Susan Lyden Keatons.
Two of them?
Well, she says, you said she was on a while ago, and Susan wrote, that's a different Susan Lyden Keenan. Huh. Somebody's lying about Susan.
Susan. Yeah.
Now, why does Josu Sarah say New England roof? Get out of southern Maine and head up to Shore. Oh, you know what? Shore Hills is great.
Sure.
We've been there several times.
Yeah, I posted a job posting for them. They're looking for housekeepers. I posted that on the NERVDA site today.
Let me just give you a tip, though. If you go to Shore Hills and you're camping down by the water, and they have a great band on Friday or Saturday nights up at the clubhouse area, bring flashlights, because there are absolutely no lights. There are no street lights to take you that. We had to traverse about 15 sites. And luckily I had my phone with me to get us back. But the crazy part is the people that spent 2 hours at the bar trying to listen to them walk back at night.
I want to make sure Ryan sees this. Jim Roy takes a 2X. Jim Roy is bigger than us. He's tall. He's I won't say huge. What's that character? Sasquatch? He looks like the
Sasquatch.
Sasquatch. The character in the woods that everybody thinks is live. Somebody will remind me, or Jim will remind me what it is.
Is it Brian at Two Feathers?
Brian is Two Feathers, yeah.
Once I'm medically cleared for travel after my heart attack at the start of January, I'll travel to New Mexico to pick up our tiffin. I hope the RV parks are open for the trip back. Yeah. Or stay down there, Jim. They're open year-round down there.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian.
Jim just posted, Susan's his wife. I was just about ready to put something up or ask Susan if she was related to you, Jim. Now, Jim has retired, I think fully retired. Jim down at Pete's RV in Plainville. Jim's been a great sales rep in this industry for years. They bought a motorhome, and they're going to go out and see the country. So are you on the road now, Jim? Are you? Because I didn't see you at the show, but have you fully retired, and are you off and running with the motorhome with Susan? I assume you took Susan with you. But,
And that's my wife. So John Sinise, we got to get you a clock.
Bigfoot, yeah. What's the other name for Bigfoot, Michael? Sasquatch. Sasquatch. Yeah. Well, that's Jim's nickname up in the woods of Maine. That's how big he is. In fact, he's got it on one of the signs out in front of the on the front deck of the workshop.
Jim Keenan hasn't left yet. Oh, by the way, today's Michael's birthday.
Which Michael? Your Michael?
Your brother's birthday.
Your brother's birthday?
Yeah. The one that's on right here. The one that's trying to usurp me. He's 67 today.
But look at how dedicated he is. It's his birthday, but he takes time out to watch his brother's television program.
Because he's trying to be like me. And in fact, he always has been. Put it this way. He's taller than me, but he looks up to me.
Yeah. So what is the date for the 500? I must have it on my calendar.
Yeah, it's February 19th. No, 20th.
20th?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll shoot over.
Yeah, we're going. So we'll be in Florida that day, but I'm not going to the race. That's
okay, so Jim is going to be with Pete through the Hershey show in September. Is that just show duty, or are you still working full time, Jim? And he says, we did run into each other in Boston. Well, sorry, I forgot that. He spoke in Boston. We are not yet on the road. Okay, but he's going to be. And Jerry says it's frozen. In Frozen, it should be Yeti. Oh, no, Sasquatch. Kevin Horkey. Jim Keenan is a great guy. You are right, Kevin. You are right. Jim is one of the nice guys. Was with McDonald's and stayed on.
Oh, he was with Karen, huh?
He was with Karen. They stayed
worked
on.
with Riney too, then?
Yep.
Must have worked with Riney.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys never bumped into him in all the time you spent in North Country.
Who said that?
Frank. What, used guys?
That's right. Oh, what you guys don't know. We didn't, Frank, we didn't go into the woods. We went into the restaurants and the bars and the campgrounds. So
not necessarily in that order.
No, we didn't do that. Do you realize we have expired 57 of our 60 minutes already?
Hey, Bob, our special guest, our audience tonight, where the audience is our very special guest. And
that's right. And you are right, Susan. We are missing Riney. It's been a couple of years now. Well, a little over that, a year. Yeah, great guy. Well known in the RVing community. Worked for several dealers. Super guy. Taken much too soon from this COVID. Well, let's end on
swinging cougars in Berkeley. Oh.
Let's end on a good note. What is he saying? These guys are city boys. They are scared for the woods. You're right, Brian.
Yeah. Worked with Kevin, slinging cougars in Berkeley. Must have been at Marty's or at Camping World. One of the two. Was that Marty?
Camping World. You're talking about Kevin Bostrom.
Yeah. Oh, Kevin Bostrom. Okay, I thought.
Although he could no, he's slinging
cougars. That would be Kevin Horkey.
Yeah, he's talking about Horkey. Yeah.
But really want to connect with you guys next summer if we get back to. What do you mean if we get back to New England? We want to meet you guys. We.
Yeah.
Camp Nab only scans 3 campgrounds in Massachusetts right now. Okay. Jim Keenan, him too. Yeah. Hey, we are almost out of town. We need to say thank you to our special audience guests tonight.
Yeah, I got one more slide. I actually got a little creative today because our guest next week is going to be Mike Perry from Dealer Resources Group. Mike hasn't been on for a couple of years. He supports all of our dealers through Dealer Resources Group, so he does a lot of training. He has just finished up the spring tour of the distributor shows, the people that they buy from. So we have dealers that buy the product from the distributors, and some of these companies employ Dealer Resources Group to do the training for them. So you will see Mike now. He'll go into his open house phase, and he'll go and you'll see him at several of the open houses that our dealers will be having after the shows. So watch for Mike there, and we will have Mike on as our guest next week. We're looking forward to it. He always brings some of the latest and greatest. So he picks up all these new products at the distributor show. So you're going to get your first look at where you want to spend some of your money for parts.
I think we should have samples of them before we go on the air to use them first.
Samples?
Yeah, we should be
do that, or we got to make them give away some. Yeah, we'll have to get some of them for giveaways. So he's good at doing that too.
Exactly. So that brings us to a close in the show, Bob. Let's just pitch our Friday show, folks. We did an interview with a family. They vacation every year in Maine. They live in Texas. They came up to Maine every summer, and they hang around because it's too hot in Texas. And this year, one of their business associates just bought an RV up in Portland, and they volunteered to go up to Portland in January and drive it back. So the story of them, husband, wife, and 2 teenage kids, absolutely have fallen in love with RVing, even though they had to deal with Winter Storm Izzy. And they made it back from Portland to Dallas in 5 days, and now are going to be RVers. So this week on Camper Report Show,
all these people that are doing winter camping and getting out there in the snow and the ice, DePietro. That's pretty good.
They love it.
All right. We will see you folks
everyone.
Next Wednesday. Thanks for being a great audience tonight. You really loaded us up there. So we'll play the outgoing video, and we will see you next Wednesday.
This edition of RVing in New England was a presentation of the New England RV Dealers Association. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.